start.
Just double up on half full LaCroix.
Well, one of them might be kind of flat.
That's okay.
I think the closer we bring it in, the better the audio.
Okay.
We really don't need these pop screens at all, I think.
I don't think so either.
I'm like,
But it makes it look professional.
the whole point is just because it looks more professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think every time I've purchased any piece of audio equipment, so from cables to interfaces, they just send me like 2 or 3 of these. So they must be so cheap to make.
Oh, I'm sure.
But they just throw it in as like,
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, well, it came with it, so I must use it.
I have so many.
We're talking about the little screens that go in front of the microphones.
Yeah, it's a pop filter. So the idea is like it filters out any of the like.
Some people call them like spit screens.
Yeah, also a spit screen for singers, and it's good in a vocal booth for distance.
Yeah. So you're
like,
not right up against the microphone.
A lot of people want to eat the microphone.
Yeah.
You always have people, they either, like when people give speeches at weddings.
Yeah. They hold it at like their belly button.
They hold it so far away. Like somehow that's going to work.
Yeah, yeah.
Or when people sing,
they eat it.
you completely put it all the way into the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So putting up a pop filter
Oh, yeah.
can, designate the distance.
Every time I sing into a microphone, I wonder why I don't have more chipped teeth.
I used to a lot more,
Yeah.
and now I try to be conscious of it.
Yeah.
And I've never like extremely chipped, but that feeling where it's like rough the next day.
Oh, yeah. I still have a little spot.
Where it's like rough.
I have a spot for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a little rough spot.
Yeah.
1,
2.
are you a new auntie?
Not yet.
Yeah.
No. Now, so got a text this morning that little tiny babe was on the way.
Yeah.
And now it's been all day.
It's been all day. That was like 8 a.m.-ish or even earlier.
I saw the text at 6 a.m., but
Okay.
I think she texted at like 5:30
Okay.
that they were on the way to the hospital. So we were all kind of like, okay. And they likely went a little bit early, but whatever. They got admitted, get settled, chill. I don't know. It's the first babe, so
Yeah. So on your
who
side,
knows
this
what's gonna happen.
is a big one.
I know.
This is a big one.
I know. I keep texting my mom like, any updates? Any updates? And
Yeah.
every time it's just like, not yet. And then it's like, not yet. And now it's like, not yet.
Yeah, it was very cute at first.
Yeah. Now we're all like, okay, but like,
Come
what are
on.
you doing? And I
Come
was like,
on.
they're probably like asleep.
Yeah.
Like they didn't sleep last night.
Well, yeah, and she's been up and uncomfortable all day. And,
Yeah.
oh,
I was like, probably trying to actually chill out.
Yeah.
But no, now I'm feeling a little anxious.
I'm excited.
Now I'm like,
Yeah.
before I was just kind of like, oh my God, yay. Now I'm kind of like, okay, but like when?
Oh, yeah.
Well, now you're getting to the point where, what's the birthday going to be? Will it be March 18th or will it be March 19th?
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Is there one that you like better? Does 18 or 19 feel better?
No.
Either way, when he is 21,
Yeah.
St. Patty's is like,
Oh, I immediately was just
Gonna
like,
be
well,
his
yeah,
weekend,
yeah,
bro.
that's your
Like,
weekend. Yeah,
oh,
you're now a St. Patrick's Day baby, basically.
but you're
so.
going to have everyone partying always like, it's my birthday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know. I 100% thought that, especially this morning when I was like convinced that it was going to be March 18th. I was like, well, St. Patrick's Day is birthday weekend.
Although 21 years from now, will people even drink?
I don't know. They're drinking less and less, but are they? I would really like to see the statistics on quantity of alcohol consumed by amount of people, because the binge drinking culture is still very much a thing, and also a huge part of a significant generation of people. Now, in past decades, were more people drinking just sort of consistently, like every night you kind of just spend the night drinking? Like, what does the volume compared to person ratio look like? Are people drinking more or less? There are more young people, at least in our generation, who are opting to not drink, I would say, than in the past 15 years or something. But then there's a ton of people still drinking a shit ton.
I mean, we saw this past weekend people stumbling everywhere.
Yeah, people were raging.
People were out. The big things right now are, one, people who came of age during COVID did not
Yeah.
go out. So
Right.
they don't have that sense of like coming of age, also social
Yeah.
abilities. So that's a huge detriment
Yeah.
to drinking culture in general because those people don't see the benefit
Yeah.
of it, you know? And then I would say, two, people are more health conscious,
That's a big thing.
which is a big thing.
That's
And
very much
those
in your
compacted,
face right now.
I think there's going to be a lull
Yeah.
over the next few years because people who are 21 now getting into the workforce don't want to go to like happy hours,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I think it'll come back, but never quite as much as it was.
It'll be interesting to see because I mean we know a few people who did not drink in their early 20s, waited until they're maybe even mid 30s, waited until they were like full on adults with full careers, and then basically like took up drinking. And everybody has that tiny little wild phase.
Oh, always. You have to.
You might be a little bit more sophisticated in your drinking, but you're still probably getting pretty smashed.
People, it takes 20 years of drinking to
Yeah.
really like hone in
Okay.
your skill set, you know?
Yeah. So you're admitting that you underage drank?
You know what? I did not really.
I did. My God.
It's funny. Well, we've talked about, I don't know if we have on the pod, but you and I have discussed my high school years. I was very
Yeah.
uptight.
Yeah.
I think I smoked weed like one time. I probably had some sort of like wine coolers
Yeah.
like once or twice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But my parents were strict. It was complicated because I lived in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere.
Driving was a huge
I couldn't
factor
walk
in
to
you
places.
going anywhere. Yeah.
And I was very much not part of social circles.
Yeah.
So like the cool kids who drank or had bonfires or partied, maybe I went to one thing and
Yeah.
I hated it or got made fun of. I
Yeah.
was fat. I was a super nerd.
Yeah.
And I was like going to college in
Yeah.
high school. I had no relationship with my peers.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that. Then I go to college.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
You were that kid.
oh, it was crazy. Like I ended up being like, not really like, I mean, now I have a party reputation
Yeah.
because of Cadaver Dogs
Of
and
course.
stuff I've done on tour. But really it just opened it up. Like you could reinvent yourself,
Yeah.
and that was the opportunity.
Absolutely. I was like done drinking by the time I got to
I
college.
know.
I was like, oh, you guys are just now doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. Like for my first 2 years, I mean, I went out and stuff but I lived off campus and people
Right.
would just come over to my house and like we would kind of casually drink, but there was no partying. It was actually not until like my junior year in college when after I took my trip to the Panamanian jungle
Right.
and bonded with a bunch of people I didn't know. Then we came back to campus.
Well, then you had a new set of friends.
Then I had a new set of friends.
Yeah.
That was exactly it. And we partied
Yeah.
really hard.
When I met you, you partied a little bit.
Yeah. It was those are the years to do it though. You
Oh.
still have a little safety net.
Yeah.
And
You also, I was talking with my client today, you recover.
oh my God.
So that was the
That
big...
is the reason that I barely drink right now is because the recovery is so insane.
He's
now.
your age, and it was like, well, I guess in between our ages,
Yeah.
but he was like, I used to be, actually, he's developed not really an allergy. He kept getting like, he's a bourbon connoisseur, loves bourbons.
Yeah.
Was a collector, was talking about this ridiculous collection he has. And he's like, if I have more than 2 drinks, I immediately get sick.
Yeah.
He's like, I have crazy acid reflux. I turn red.
Oh,
He's like, and my
no.
doctor's just like, bro, you just can't drink.
It's just your body
Yeah,
saying
hello.
hello.
Yeah, you just can't do
Stop
it.
it.
And he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm not even 40 yet.
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the number one
No,
thing.
you should,
You
absolutely.
should always listen to your body.
Yeah.
You know your body the best. The body knows what it's doing the best.
Well, we went out a little bit last night. It was St. Patty's. We played some music. Yeah, sit down. And I felt great today. We went out Friday night,
yeah.
and I can tell you that I did not feel great on Saturday. So
Yeah.
there's a fine line.
Yeah. Absolutely. But how's your day?
It was a pretty solid day. Well,
Good.
I did all the stuff that, well, I didn't play guitar, but
Yeah.
I, ran this morning.
Good job.
Checked on, oh no, yeah.
No, you did not run this morning.
What's today? Tuesday. No,
It's Tuesday.
painted flower boxes at Parlor Suites.
Correct.
That's what we did on today. So, a win in the morning. I love to start with a win.
So I'm talking about cleaning in the morning.
Yeah.
Check mark.
Yeah, as long as you like accomplish a task, then you're set up very well
Absolutely.
for the rest of the day. But then I just blasted a baller tattoo. Then we immediately went to a happy hour event,
Yeah.
booked a show.
Yeah.
Now we made dinner.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, check marks.
Wow.
All over the place.
How was your day?
It was good. Today, normally I'm pretty good when I'm by myself. Like, I'm still able to stay motivated. I'm still
You mean
able
when
to.
you're sitting in complete silence alone?
I tend to do that. If I need to focus, absolutely. Sometimes I'll put music on, but honestly, having to figure out what music I want to listen to, wasting my time.
Listen, I want to run
Just wanna get to
run
the-
a survey. When you post this, be like, run a survey. Do you sit in silence? Are you comfortable sitting in silence?
Yeah.
Or do you always need background noise?
Yeah,
I'm
comfortable
like,
sitting in silence.
Yeah, you are.
You're not.
No, I hate it.
Yeah. But today, and I still was productive. Things got done, but it was kind of eating at me. And I could have done, I grabbed lunch with an old college roommate, actually.
Right, who lived at your house?
Who lived
yeah.
in my house. And that was fun. That was great. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. But it was like right in the middle of the day. So it kind of broke up my momentum. And by the time I got back, I was feeling pretty low. It was just, I don't know. I think so much of my week includes a big chunk of the day at the barn.
Right.
The days where I don't, it feels like a day off, even though it's very much not a day off. There's still a ton of things to do, but it's like, I don't exactly know how to structure those days right now. And it's just me partially, I'm sure, just being lazy, but like today just felt like there were so many things I needed to work on. It was like, okay, where do I start? And nothing necessarily needed to be done today. So there was a lot of, I think I just wasted a lot of time accidentally today. Like I said, still feel like I accomplished some things, but it could have been, I probably just should have left the apartment is what I should have done.
Yeah.
I should have come to the studio. I should have gone and sat somewhere.
There's so many times when you tell me your mood is kind of low and then you get outside.
Yeah.
You just take a walk, even walk around the block. All of a sudden it...
Exactly. And that's exactly what I did. I could feel myself. I was like, I either sit here and just like keep opening Instagram over and over again, or even though it's probably going to waste some time, I need to go to the grocery store and I'm going to walk there.
Yeah.
And so I did that and it helped a ton when I listened to my podcast.
Yeah. Well, tell everyone the podcast you're super into now.
It's been around forever.
Which I didn't realize that. Yeah.
A client of yours told you about it. You
Yeah.
then told me about it. It's called Acquired. And it's these two guys, and they do very extensive deep dives into the history of major companies and major brands. And it is so fun. I've only listened to one full episode, but it was about Hermes. And it's like, I mean, I've known the name Hermes my entire life. Everyone knows about the Hermes scarves. Everyone knows about the Birkin bag. Everybody knows about the Kelly bag. But where did it start? It was just, I don't know. It was just, they did just a great enough job filling it with so much detail, but not making it boring, at least for me. This episode was over 5 hours long.
Yeah.
It probably took me a week to listen to it. But they reference an episode they did prior to the Hermes one, where they covered LVMH. And so, of course, I had to start the LVMH one. So I've gone back even further, and I'm doing LVMH right now, which you also started.
I started
so
it.
we can talk about it. Just talk about the insane genius of Bernard Arnault.
Well, what I really like is I know Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah.
And it's so fascinating, the similarities
Oh, yeah.
sort of in it,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
not privy to. I was like,
Yeah.
well, you know.
Well, I think
wow.
there's even a quote already. I mean, I'm barely an hour into this one. This one's shorter. This one's a little over 3
It's
hours.
like 3, yeah.
But they say something early on that everything LVMH has done, there's different like chapters basically of it that are like Berkshire Hathaway, that are like all these other
Yeah,
different.
Apple or
There's
other-
like
yeah.
you're going to get the full spectrum of like what business acquisition and founding and blah blah
Yeah.
blah 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 just in this one
Oh,
episode.
absolutely.
So I'm so excited.
No, it reminds me a lot of Hardcore History, which is one of my
okay. Yeah.
absolute favorite podcasts, where they are like 3 to 5 hour episodes, but
Yeah.
so in depth.
Yeah.
And what I really like are sort of little side tangents that
Exactly.
are relevant. It's like, oh, he just happened to live next door to this guy. Do you know
Yeah.
this guy?
And then
here's-
let's tell this guy's story, and
yeah,
yeah.
but that's how you like build the entire spectrum, and you understand like
Yeah.
why they end up in these situations and how
Exactly.
what pushes them into it. Incredibly fascinating. So good find for sure. I'm gonna
Yeah.
dive through all of those.
Yeah. I mean, everything. IKEA, Meta,
Oh, well,
Novo
Nintendo.
Nordisk, Nintendo,
Yeah, Costco.
NFL. Like,
I heard the NFL one is very fascinating.
yeah. So that'll be interesting. Maybe save that one like right before the season starts.
Oh, that's great.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, Bengals fans out there, Houday, T and Jamar both re-signed.
Yeah. Joe Burrow posted a story today, maybe just this afternoon.
I didn't even see
It was
it.
a black screen, and then in the most normal font, you know, when you like put a story up, you can choose your font. It was like the first one, like the auto, like he didn't even like try to like choose
Yeah.
a font, and it said Bengals versus Dolphins, and I think it said I want to say Madrid
Oh, okay.
or Milan.
Okay. But one of the international games.
And he said, basically, please be true. So I don't know if it's confirmed, but he put it out there like, is this really going to happen? Because that'd be awesome.
The only reason he would post that is, Joe Burrow posting that can sway.
Totally.
You know,
totally.
the
Yeah.
NFL's decision.
Yeah. Bengals, choose us, please.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
he's putting it out there like, hey, I'm right now probably ranked. He's first in stats, but
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know he was third in line for MVP this last season.
Yeah.
So you're like such a huge star,
Absolutely.
where you could sway the decision.
You can post it in the most
boring, plain ass way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You just doing that is enough to have.
You didn't even choose like an orange hue
You're-
or
oh
anything.
yeah. It was. Yeah, and after that,
Which is probably so intentional.
but that's all. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think he really cares.
No,
He's
probably
Joe
not.
Cool, baby.
He's Joe Cool. So, yeah, very into Acquired. Highly, highly recommended, even after just this
Yeah, I
one
think
episode.
it's shit like that I love to work out to.
Seriously,
Like that's the
yes.
shit that motivates you.
I could
you know?
not agree more. Like I have not ran now in a few weeks. I'm still a runner,
Yeah.
but my toe was an issue, and
You
then
had
I
some
just
shoes.
was busy, and then I just got kind of to the point
The
where
key
I didn't
is to
want to
keep the mindset.
run.
They would say like Atomic Habits would say, if you want to develop a habit, you have to change your mindset. So instead of being like, I'm trying to quit smoking,
Yeah.
you say, well, I'm not a smoker.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And that's what it's not like, oh, I'm trying to get back into running. You have to be like, well, I'm a runner.
I know.
And
yeah.
that has to be your mindset about
Yeah.
whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
You want to learn piano. It's like, well, I play piano. It
I'm
can't be like,
very in touch with myself when I know I don't want to do something.
Right.
And so I've woken up handful mornings recently, and I'm just like, I know it's gonna almost piss me off to be on the treadmill. I can do something else. I can take a walk. I can do some yoga.
Yeah.
But today I was kind of like, kind of feel the treadmill coming.
Yeah.
My toe's okay. My toe
Well, I
is
think,
healed.
I mean, also like, you know, I don't know how many calories someone, if you're a listener and you're a trainer, let us know. One of these days I'm going to say shit like this and someone's going to respond. But I'm like, how many calories are you burning? Because you walk at an intense incline when you just
when
do
I'm on the treadmill,
you
I
crank
get
it up.
it's a different workout because I wouldn't say I'm working like my abs really at all. Like
Yeah.
when you run, you're tensing a lot of your body. You're working many parts of your body. When I'm on the treadmill and I'm walking, it's at a big gradient
Yeah.
and fast.
You blast it.
I blast it. And so, I mean, I get done and I'm like, my heart was racing. I'm not as sweaty maybe as I would be if
Yeah.
I ran. I'm sure it's less of a workout for sure, but like still a great workout.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, well, and it's different. You know, running is not great for your joints.
Right.
No matter how springy or nice your treadmill is, it's still relatively high impact on
would
your
say-
joints. Walking is not.
I was able to do the Cadaver Dog set pretty effortlessly
Yeah.
at the Newport.
And you had been running a ton.
I've been running a ton.
Yeah.
And I know that I would not have been able to do that.
Yeah.
50 minutes of
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
just cranking as hard
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardio is so good.
Yeah.
It's so obviously just very healthy to do. But then when you do have high impact things you have to do, having that heart strength
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
I tattoo a lot of buff dudes, and they hate cardio,
Yeah.
but you lose mass. So
That makes sense.
if you want to put on mass, but like, I just want to look lean.
Yeah.
I have no
that's
interest in like
where I
building bulk.
that's where I lean.
Yeah, but I also like, I'm really into mobility, and
Right,
I spend
right.
a lot of days in weird positions.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like
It would not work for you to be super
so big where I can't.
big.
Yeah,
That wouldn't work. That would not be good.
yeah. I like high protein, but I have no interest in bulk.
Yeah. I think a few episodes ago we discussed my biggest fear of going to jail.
Of course.
And I asked you what yours was and you did not know.
Go on.
But we figured out one of your biggest fears
Well, it's
today.
definitely a fear, and it's a fear I've mentioned before,
Yeah.
and it's probably irrational, except it almost happened.
It almost happened.
almost
That's why I'm
happened.
bringing it up.
So I have a fear, and well, it's because we live in a building with an elevator.
Yes.
I think if other people probably don't experience this.
Yeah.
If you normally, if you live most places, you walk to your front door
And you unlock the door.
and you unlock the door. We ride up an elevator.
Yes.
But I typically get my key out on the way
you're
up
ready
in
to go.
the elevator, so
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, and our door is immediately off the elevator.
Yeah.
I have a fear for years of dropping my keys in the space between the elevator and the floor.
Yeah.
And today,
Came really close.
I was pulling my keys out, and the door was closing, and I dropped them, and they slid towards the gap. I saw it happening.
Yeah. It was really close.
And I was like even if you can get to the basement, you can't get
Into the shaft.
into the shaft under,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God.
It'd be a pain. I'm sure we could call
It
the
would be
elevator company and we
fine.
could get them, but it'd be a pain.
It would be a pain.
It would totally be a pain. So
That's a fear.
fear unlocked.
I don't know if it's my biggest fear, but
it's a real one in your world.
it's a real world fear.
Yeah.
We have a lot of elevators we have to deal with,
Oh God, the
and
elevators.
shitty elevators we have to deal with.
Yeah.
So elevators be breaking all the time. We have a business right now. We're moving out of that building, but it's the second oldest elevator in Ohio, they
Yeah.
claim.
And it runs like it.
It is broken all the time.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe lose the claim to fame and like get a working elevator. That's my
we
vote.
talked about Acquired. We always talk about our businesses and our lives. I'm not opposed to rebranding as entrepreneur shit.
Oh yeah.
Could that be a title, or do you have to put like a symbol?
asterisk or
a symbol or
something.
something in it.
Entrepreneur shit. Yeah. It's feeling like that right now.
Oh my God. Well, we're so thick in it.
It's the closer you are to home, the worse you have to pee.
Always.
Yeah. But I think, and I mean, there's so many like entrepreneur podcasts and
Right.
founders podcasts, and everybody says the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's wading through a lot of shit.
It's wading through a lot of shit. It's always the worst right before you break through the other side.
Yep.
Everything looks like it's lost. You think that what I do find solace in the fact that every time I talk to somebody who I think is ahead of us in whatever business it is, they're 5 years ahead. They're opening their third, fourth location. They're like, oh my God, I'm broke and I maxed out every credit card, whatever, it took absolutely everything to get there.
I had a moment like that recently. There's some people we know, and I admired them. They did feel like they were just barely a click ahead of us, and they are just barely a click ahead of us in age and everything that they do. And I was just like, if we can just get to like where they are, like I think we'll be okay. And I was like, they
Yeah.
obviously did everything right. And then you talked to them
Oh, yeah.
actually, and I'm not naming any names, but yeah, they were just like, oh no, we are still extremely broke.
Oh yeah.
We don't have access to cap. We don't
Oh,
have, because that's just always my fear is I'm just like, we're gonna have no money.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, on one hand I was like, okay, so we're not the only ones. On the other hand, I was like, so I don't want to be like that in a few years.
Yeah.
I was like, the
Yeah.
click ahead, I want to be beyond that.
Yeah.
But you never know what's going to come at you. And if anything, talks about it a million times, gain so many skill sets, gain the ability to brush certain things aside that would have driven me crazy or would have just completely put me down in the past. And I'm like, oh, that thing, totally fine. Bigger fish to fry now, but I fully anticipate brushing those things aside as well in the future. So feel good. I feel like all my little scar tissue's building up. We're layering on. We're getting stronger.
Well, I think there's always the opportunity is the way. And I find myself now, conversations we're having will be at dinners with people, or even at, we were at the athletic club earlier.
Yeah.
But we can be having a conversation and they start talking about rezoning or permitting or anything that they're having to do. And I'm like, oh, did you do this?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's like all of a sudden we have knowledge that now takes us in conversations that we would not have been in before.
Absolutely.
That gives us access to rooms we wouldn't have had, even though it was annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
To get that access. Now we have a level of knowledge where people are like, oh, actually, what did you do?
Well, and that's why you should always embrace situations you're in, expose yourself to different things. Yeah. I mean, it's almost, I'm sure I'm preaching to many choirs right now, but like the best thing you can do for yourself is learn or just be around as many different things as possible, because you will take something away from that. And then you will find yourself in a situation where, because you attended that event, because you talked to that person, because you did that thing with your work or whatever it was, you now are able to talk to somebody else and you have a connection to them. I mean, I think I've said this many times on this podcast, but the most liberating feeling in the world is knowing that you can walk into any single room and at least be relatively comfortable.
Well, that's often the thing that I say I love about you the most.
You don't have to look after me.
We can go to any party. We can go to any event.
I'll just start asking people questions. Don't worry.
And I can walk away. It's like the most... You could not have a more powerful partner.
I feel the same way. It's awesome.
Than someone who can work a room. It's the best.
Yeah. And working the room literally just means engaging with people and genuinely being curious. Asking them.
Which takes low to no effort.
It's literally just a matter. I mean, it's really great when you ask someone a question and then you create this nice dialogue back and forth.
Yeah.
But if not, and you're still kind of stuck with the person, all right, here we go. Interview time.
Yeah.
Tell me about your shit.
Then
Let's go.
People love.
And guess what? I'm sure you'll say something and I will be able to somehow reciprocate it, and hopefully we can get a little thing going.
Yeah, I've mentioned, in my work, it was so beneficial in my 20s to go to every fucking state.
Yeah.
Because now when someone like, oh, I'm
from New Jersey.
Yeah.
I've done these things in New Jersey.
Jersey, do you know this thing?
Yeah.
So
or like some weird fact about New Jersey, and it's like everyone in New Jersey is like, how do you know that? It's like, I entered your state and someone told me.
Oh, I'm so fucking tired of New Jersey. I can't make any left turns.
I know, isn't it crazy? You can't make a left turn. Yeah. You have to go right and then around and then forward.
But if someone's from New Jersey, they're like,
I know.
It's fucking weird, right?
Can you pump your gas in New Jersey yet?
I think you can now. New Jersey and Oregon were the only two states where you were not allowed to pump your own gas.
It was so awkward.
I think Oregon still is.
Probably. Those fuckers.
What I don't like, the thing that always annoyed us and that we would joke about on the road is like, you won't let me pump my own gas, so I'm not allowed to. I can't touch it, and it's all union.
And then you want a tip.
But then you want a fucking tip?
I know.
It's like, bro, but tip culture now is out of control, right? That's what.
Oh my God.
For everything. They flip it around.
Where
it's like,
was
I ordered two.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What did I was ordering something online. I can't remember what it was. It was one of the a super basic thing I was ordering, but it wasn't on Amazon. It wasn't
like on just Shopify or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. I think it was Richie's allergy needles. I think it was from like syringes.com or something.
They asked for a tip.
I was like, you want to support the team that put all this together or whatever? Like, leave a tip. And it was your normal like 10, 15, 20 other. And I was like, no.
At syringes.com.
No.
That's pretty funny.
Pay them what they deserve to do their hourly job. Pay the person to create your website.
Yeah.
And let me order off of it because I'm paying for the internet that you're allowed to be on. I I'm
It's
a little
weird.
speechless over it.
That's a weird one.
It was weird. It's the first time I'd ever seen it.
Have you been to a restaurant?
Unlike, if you order food online or something and it's like they're gonna, like, do you want to tip the delivery driver or something like totally different?
If they're delivering, always.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
now you did something. You
Yeah.
brought it to me.
Exactly.
That's a service.
Exactly.
If you're providing a service, yes.
Yeah.
I will always tip on it. I work in the service industry. I
Yeah.
completely understand. And
Yeah,
I
tip karma.
I appreciate it 100%. I'm going to tip 20+% on absolutely everything.
If
but
the
it's
job's well done.
if the job's well done. But it's like, if you didn't do anything,
No, I clicked add to cart.
I feel weird about
and
it.
then I input my payment details and
Yeah.
I clicked checkout and it was like, leave a tip. And I was like, no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, it is funny now. It's everywhere. And that just means like, okay, so we're not paying people enough and you're trying to get around it.
Or you're just embracing tip culture and you're like,
Yeah.
some idiot is going to tip this.
Well, and if you're 18 and you're paying for stuff for the first time and you don't know that, you're like, okay, I guess
you
you
also
tip.
grew up with tip culture.
I guess I tip on everything.
As the person buying
It was
something,
weird
have
in the-
only ever seen hyper tip culture. So you
was
just assume.
Wild in the UK to
No
not
tips.
tip.
No
I was
tips.
like, I felt so weird. It made me like, I was like, I should be paying.
It makes checking out really easy.
I should be paying more on all this. Yeah.
How do they? I mean, because prices weren't inflated
Prices weren't
or
that bad.
anything,
I
so
don't know.
you just figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole tip culture thing has gotten way out of hand,
It's fascinating.
and it's just like, I mean, sometimes I will only tip $1 because someone turned around and poured me a black coffee,
Right.
and I'm like, am I the asshole?
Right. Well, they make you feel guilty about it.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't think it's worth more than $1 that you spun around. I don't know. It's
If you made me like beautiful latte art,
yeah.
I'd care more.
Exactly. Or the best is when someone hands you like a pre-made thing. Like it's like, I'll have that pre-made sandwich and they just like hand it to you. And you're
Oh,
like,
that's what I'm like. You didn't do anything.
do I tip?
Yeah.
Like what? Your reach was beautiful? I don't know. Anyway, done talking about that. But tip culture, my God.
How weird will it be when a robot asks for a tip?
I'll probably just stop going to that place.
Because the robot probably isn't even getting paid.
No,
So it's just
that's
a
the whole
tip for the
point. That's why you'd have
manufacturer.
yeah. Then I'm like, okay, put it into your price then.
But I can tell you that when I have a robot bartender
Yeah.
and they feel realistic and I watch him shake up everything
Yeah.
and he pours it,
You're going to want to be friends with it.
I'm going to want to be friends. Well, I'll definitely like small
Like,
talk.
I need this robot to like me.
Instead of being like asking like where you're from, I'd be like, who's your manufacturer?
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you say to a robot
yeah,
bartender?
yeah. I don't know. Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably just like ask it. Well, it'll be interesting. Will those robots still have access to all the same, like to a ton of information, or will they just be programmed to do the things they're doing? Like, how will they program a bartender robot? Will it have access to the full internet so you can have a conversation with it about anything?
It'll need to small talk.
It'll need to small talk. How much access do you give it? Then versus like a kitchen robot that just needs to know how to make the things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you give it access to information that could be small talk or conversation? Or do you just like not give it that access? It's basically just a machine making the food.
Home use kitchen appliances, they don't need to converse.
Right.
But what you will have is your personal assistant.
Yeah.
So like Siri, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whomever, whatever you like, you'll be able to be like, Claude, can you turn the stove on? Can you do this? They'll all respond to your assistant. So they won't need their own identity.
Yeah.
But when
so you're still going through Claude to put
it on ChatGPT or hey Siri, hey, it'll be Siri. For us because we're Apple.
Claude's
only.
pretty cute.
Claude's a good name.
Claude's a good name.
But when you go to the bartender, he'll need to be able to tell you, hey, whatever your bartender's name is, talk about the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
It'll need to know stats, what's happening, and it'll be like, hey, can you tell me the update on the game? He'll need to be able to have the scores in real time.
Yeah.
Or also to look up any drink.
Of course.
And then be like, that was a Prohibition era thing, right? And I'll be
Right.
like, yeah, it was actually, and it was first used in 1920.
It's going to be your dream.
Oh my god, because,
You're so excited. You're like,
so
oh my
hyped.
god, the bartender's just gonna spit facts at me.
But I'm gonna want to
Dream
tip
life.
them, even though the bar probably doesn't have to pay them shit.
You know, life's gonna be so expensive at that point that it'll just feel like you've tipped your way into this lifestyle. And
Well,
I
you'll
say,
also-
call it a day. No.
You'll also like, money won't be real. Money's not real right now, by the way.
Yeah,
But
definitely not.
it'll probably be some sort of digital currency anyway.
Yeah.
And you'll just be like, whatever.
Oh my god, you're gonna be stuck at the bar with the goddamn robot bartender.
Oh, all the time.
I can just see it.
I'm gonna love
This
it.
is gonna be the problem. You probably won't even be drinking.
Yeah.
Your drug will be talking to
Tell
the
me
bar.
more.
Tell me more.
I want all the facts,
Tell me
please.
more.
I could use, but I would prefer that. Like, talking to ChatGPT isn't the same.
Well, you're looking at your phone.
You're looking at your phone. I'd love to be able to talk to somebody.
See their eyebrows move.
Yeah. Their little robot,
their-
little metal
yeah.
eyebrows. Yeah.
Oh, so you're picturing like metally looking robots?
I am a little bit,
I'm
yeah.
picturing like full flesh.
Oh, see, that's
Like
funny.
they
I'm
look
not.
like a person, but they have like weird eyes or something.
I think it's better if they stay a little robot-y.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Like, what's the SpaceX robot, or the Tesla robot?
I don't know.
But
its
how
name.
that looks.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Where it's like, it's a black screen and it has like blue dots that like make faces.
Which still feels very real.
So it feels real, but it doesn't feel like I won't feel guilty about it, you know, or
Yeah.
it being abused, or like it's working 20 hours a day or whatever. It's like,
Right.
well, that's what you're made to do, bro.
Yeah.
You're a robot, you know. You don't
Yeah.
feel. But if it looked humanoid, like,
You'd be a little like, you're looking a little tired today.
yeah, I'd be like, I don't know, I like that.
Your weird flesh is kind of
Yeah.
drooping.
Is there a thing that you could automate right now?
Me?
Yeah, that you would prefer.
Driving.
Driving. Yeah.
I would love, I mean, and mainly it's a half hour to the barn. Half hour there, half hour back. That's an hour.
You get shit
that
done.
I can't be productive.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
100%.
listening to my pod, which I love.
Yeah.
So I'm learning stuff, but that's an hour that I could
Totally.
be doing things on my computer. I could be doing, I don't know how big these little pods are going to be, but I could be doing some squats or some.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could just be doing other things.
By little pods, you mean the vehicle you'd be in.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes,
The vehicle pod.
Yeah, not the
AirPod.
podcast you're listening to.
Oh,
or
not the
AirPods
pod,
you're
not
wearing,
the AirPods.
but the pod that you're in,
Yeah.
moving. Yes,
So
I
I'm
got
just
you.
going to be in pod mode in
Yeah,
the future.
a lot of pods. The future.
Um,
The future's a lot of pods.
A lot of pods.
You know what else was in a pod?
Peas.
The motherfucking thing that you were in the Matrix.
Oh, see, I haven't seen The Matrix. So.
How the fuck?
I don't know, man.
Out of all of the movies, I know that every time I bring up a movie, almost always you're like, I've never seen it. But of The Matrix?
I probably chose Titanic again over The Matrix one day.
Well, what year was the Titanic?
April 14th, 1912.
The film.
97 maybe.
Okay, I think The Matrix was 99.
Okay.
So they're contemporary films, essentially. I think
I probably like really started watching Titanic in like
think-
98.
that my favorite film, The Fifth Element, was right in between,
Yeah.
98. Well, we got to watch The Matrix. All right, before the next pod,
Okay.
I'm going to make you watch The Matrix, the first one.
Okay.
Because it holds up. It's great.
Yeah.
And everything that is happening. I mean, the idea of like everything being a simulation.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay. I'll watch it.
It is Keanu Reeves. He's great.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne. Oh, amazing cast.
Okay. Cool, yeah. I think it'd be fun. I mean, we have watched a couple movies recently.
We have
which
watched
is
some films.
weird.
They've been kind of bangers, for sure.
Yeah, what was the first one we watched?
We watched Furiosa out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, the Mad Max movie.
Yeah, well, I was like, we were just on the couch. Was it Sunday?
I don't know. Something like that.
Or Saturday night, maybe. I was a little hungover still, recovering, and we were like, let's just watch a movie.
And we scrolled through a bunch, and for some reason I said, yeah,
That
let's
one.
watch this
That one.
Mad Max movie.
I think, the
It's
film,
fine.
I would say film was fine, but beautiful.
Yeah.
George Miller crushes it. Same director from the original films. If
Yeah.
anyone's a fan of the franchise, I think this one holds up.
Yeah.
I love Anya Taylor-Joy, so put her in anything. And
And then we watched Civil War.
which these are both like beautiful directors,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and so really cool to see.
I liked Civil War.
I
love
did too.
Kirsten Dunst. I think
Kirsten
she's
Dunst,
just
put her in anything. She's
the
great.
most wonderful. But it was just, I mean, very interesting perspective on
Let's follow the
the Civil War.
photojournalist.
Yeah. Yeah. Made me think about photojournalists,
Totally.
which obviously you see images all the time from war zones, from whatever events.
Well, they changed wars. So that, before Vietnam, it was very hard. I mean, the first photojournalists were like the American Civil War, very famously.
Yeah.
I think with Matthew Brady,
Okay.
maybe was his name. There was like one group and / his brother and people, and they were the first people to photograph war scenes. And it was the American
Interesting.
Civil War.
Yeah.
But they were accused of pulling bodies into the shot to make it look worse than it was.
Really?
These are the very first war photographers.
Whoa.
But then we controlled the narrative extremely through World War One, World War Two.
Yeah.
And then it started to really unravel during Vietnam.
That's what I was gonna say.
And that's when sort of you get this pushback from people, the American populace, over like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Questioning, because you're actually seeing.
Because you're actually seeing it. So then you have to like grapple with how important is it. I think it's very important to see what's really going on, but
Yeah.
also who's controlling what's being seen. And yeah, it's interesting. I thought it was a great take on what it would be like.
It makes me want to look into it a little more. Just like, I'm obviously so many politics behind it, I'm sure, but like some of these professional, especially war zone photojournalists, like what training do you have to go through? Because, I mean, the way they were showing it in the movie, you are with the troops.
Yeah.
You are in line with them as they are going into situations. You need to be able to follow commands. You need to be able to be quiet. You need to be able to act like a soldier.
What I like that Garland did is never once was it race.
No.
Never once was it gender.
Nope.
They even kept the politics pretty vague.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously you sort of thought it was like a conservative liberal, but then he made the liberal faction also just as fucked up.
Yeah.
So like what I really, really liked is that it was the journalist,
Yeah.
unbiased, chronicling it.
Yeah.
And that's what made the film like totally hit for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, 2 movies in a row. Oh my God. Who are
Wild.
we?
Well, we talked, this year we want to watch more film.
I do. We're like a quarter of the way through the year. Almost.
And we've watched like 4 movies.
Yeah. Look at us go. 1 a month.
Pretty solid.
That's more than normal.
All right. What's coming up? What are events, things, activities?
On Thursday, I'm going to the dark side.
It's a big day.
I committed. I'm going back to my
You
natural
told your
color.
stylist you're going dark.
So there's still a chance that I won't, but I'm feeling good
I think
about
you're.
it.
I think you're into it.
I think I'm ready
I
for
think
it.
you're ready.
Other than that, hopefully little tiny babe's on his way.
So
I was in like a
Nephew.
fam chat and I was like, he's just packing up his house. He's, he's packing up his suitcase. And I sent the little SpongeBob meme like, I'm
I'm
out.
outta here.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, out of the
your
chair.
boy's just like,
Getting up.
he just keeps looking in the cupboards and he's like, God damn it, I forgot to pack that thing.
Yeah,
So like, it was
yeah.
just taking him a while. He really, he's been there for 9 months.
how do you,
You
pack
can
a placenta? You know.
How do you pack a
Your placenta.
placenta? I don't know. But yeah,
So
nephew.
new
Nephew is kind of a funny thing to say. Obviously, we say it about like your niece and nephew, which are our niece and nephew. But when it's your blood, it feels weird. And so nephew almost feels like when we first got married, I couldn't say the word husband. It was just
right,
it just
right,
felt
right.
so. And it's not that it felt weird to
This is
have
big.
a
'Cause this is the
husband.
first on
It's
your
just-
side.
Exactly.
So that's
exactly.
what,
So to
like,
say like
that's
I have a nephew, like
yeah.
what?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost weird.
Yeah.
But he's still packing up his house, so he'll come knocking shortly.
New nephew, new hair.
Yeah, new nephew, new hair. I think those are the big changes this
Yeah.
week for me. What about you?
Well, obviously the
New nephew.
new nephew,
Same.
new hair on my wife.
New hair, yeah.
I'll have a new wife.
Yeah, yeah.
New hair, new nephew, new wife.
I hope it's not like, oh my God, remember when you shaved during lockdown?
Well, and you hated me. You were repulsed by my presence.
I wasn't repulsed, but you like
I
truly
look-
felt like a different person.
We can post the photo of the side by side, but I look very different
You
without a
look
mustache.
Your whole the shape of your face is
I probably
completely
look.
different.
I think I look like Sam Rockwell.
more so than you do. Shut up. White Lotus. We'll get into that later.
I just want to be one of the Asian girls.
Oh my god.
If anyone, no spoiler, but watch White Lotus. I honestly, like, I was like enraptured. I love a good monologue.
Yes, it was a great monologue. It's a little shocking.
I love a surprise cameo.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea, which it turns out the internet did not either.
Yeah. Okay, just leave it at that. Let
Okay.
people watch it. Let people watch it. But back to me barely being able to like interact with you because you looked like you had just like come around the corner, walking towards the kitchen.
It was like you
and
were
I
surprised.
felt like there was a stranger in the house.
I would say aghast.
Yeah, and even to the point where like if you tried to like give me a hug or something,
Oh,
I'd be
you were like
I would like go
uncomfortable.
through the motions. I'd be like, okay, we can hug.
Yeah.
But, like, I was like, grow it back immediately.
Luckily, it takes zero time.
Yeah, but I hope I don't have that effect on you. Thankfully, you have seen me with dark hair.
I've
so.
seen you through your whole gradient. You didn't just go blonde.
No, you're right.
So
You're right. So it'll be interesting.
I think you'll feel.
I'm gonna be an ant. I'm gonna have brown hair. I'm gonna be the brown-haired ant.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be called Ant.
What are you gonna be called?
Just Wizzy.
Just Wizzy.
It's my.
Not Aunt Wizzy.
No, I just want to be Wizzy. Wizzy is my family nickname
Right.
that I've had since birth. My parents named me Elizabeth. I have a namesake. She was their. She's still one of their best
I know.
friends.
Yeah.
And she went by Elizabeth, and my mom always loved Elizabeth. But when I was born, they were like, we can't call this
baby.
tiny little bean He'd be like, oh, good morning, Elizabeth.
Right.
But my mom really didn't like the Liz's or the Lizzies. And my grandparents had next door neighbors, and I think it was their daughter. I don't think it was a granddaughter situation. I think it was a daughter. And her name was Elizabeth, and they called her Wizzy. And so my parents were like, okay, we'll call her Wizzy. And so for a while growing up, like when we would go visit my grandparents, because they were just 2 hours away in Hilton Head, I would play, and it'd be Big Wizzy and Little Wizzy. And my sisters only call me Wizzy.
Still.
To this day. Oh, yeah. Like, and
Your family, it's Wizzy.
it's Wizzy. Yeah. And or Elizabeth. Like, you know, my
But
aunts
even
and
your
uncles,
childhood
like,
friends.
childhood friends call me Wizzy.
Wizzy.
There's a few friends, like once we moved to Dayton, they just it kind of translated.
stuck.
There's a couple families up here that still call me Wizzy. But the Liz thing started when we moved to Dayton, and I was in my 5th grade class, and that was the year that I moved there. So I was the new girl, and there was another girl in my class named Elizabeth, also went by Elizabeth. Her family called her Elizabeth. I think they would maybe a little bit call her Lizzie. But my 5th grade teacher just took it upon herself to dub us Liz R, that being me, and Liz C, that being Elizabeth Connolly. And so I was just basically introduced to all of my new peers
Liz R, Liz C.
and ultimately my new community as Liz R. So I was Liz R
Right.
through high school, but that's where the Liz really started. And you know, when you're young, you don't really collect.
Yeah, you don't push
correct
back.
people.
Yeah.
You don't, and especially because I was new. Like, you know, Elizabeth Connolly, she knew everybody, and I think a lot of them knew her as Elizabeth too. But you're in 5th grade. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do? So then the Liz thing really, really stuck. And I think in college, I tried. Elizabeth is a hard name because you can say your name's Elizabeth. Matthew is the exact same way.
I could not
And everyone
agree
just
more.
says, okay,
Matt.
Liz. Okay, Matt. Okay,
Yep,
cool.
immediately.
And Matt especially. Like, Elizabeth has probably the most nicknames of any name. There are so many. But yeah, I remember in college, like trying to, but I also went to college with a lot of my high school friends. So they're calling me Liz. When we met,
Yeah.
you only know me as
As
Liz.
Liz,
And so
yeah.
now, especially if I
I
introduce
love
myself,
to introduce you as Elizabeth.
you've gotten, yeah, you start to say Elizabeth. The only person in now my like adult life who, well, I guess there's a few more, but someone who's really stuck with it is Jerry, who owns
Right.
the bakery. Like, I, from the start, just said I was Elizabeth. And I mean, there are other people at the bakery as my coworkers that would just start calling me Liz, and she is like, you're not Liz. Like,
Yeah.
you are Elizabeth, and you are forever Elizabeth. And so my mom loves her.
Yeah.
But all that to say, Wizzy.
Wizzy.
Wizzy. Wizzy and Uncle Matt, I think, works well.
Yeah.
If Leslie was like, well, what am I going to be called? And I was like, Leslie. Just Wizzy and Leslie. I don't hate it.
We'll see.
I don't
We should.
Or is that, I mean, Lele's cute. Or,
Lele.
but I can't be Wizzy and Aunt Leslie. Like, that's.
She's in my phone as Lele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in my phone as Lele. And
Yeah.
then Celia's in my phone as my beloved sister.
I know.
It's funny when you see what people have each other in
I
their
know,
phone.
yeah.
Like, you're just Matthew Franklin in my phone.
You're Liz Raz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love when what I can't stand is husband.
Right. Right.
Like, no. But when people have like funny names or my parents are Madre and Padre.
Yeah.
Most everybody else is like pretty much their name. My best friend Maddie, she's Madeleine.
Oh,
Not
of course.
it's like instead of like Madeline, it's like EINE at the end.
My phone is full of a person in the city.
Oh, okay. I still have a few people, and it's like Molly Sell.
Oh yeah,
Because it was
of course.
like from high school or
Well, and
something.
even I think-
and you had their home phone number
I think
too.
even Celia's is like when she changed her number, so it's
Yeah.
like Celia 2023 or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever their years. But a lot of my phone is just the city where I met him because
Absolutely.
I traveled so much, so it was just like
Oh yeah.
Mike Detroit,
Oh, I mean, I did that at the barn a bunch too. Like when I
course.
first started meeting people.
My association with him.
Exactly.
Now a good friend of mine who is a friend, well,
Your good friend who's a friend.
Josh will know this, but Josh is just Josh Chaz's friend. I don't think he knows that. I don't think he knows that. So if he hears this, he'll
Josh Shaz friend.
That's-
Shaz, who is our friend. Yeah.
Josh Chaz's friend.
Because we met Josh through Shaz.
Chaz, yeah. But it's like,
Josh Shaz friend.
I know his name, and
Yeah, you know his entire name.
yeah.
But no, I mean, going through, you also like, when your phone lights up, you know you can kind of see the length of the name.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know if like it's you texting me versus Leslie or
Mm-hmm.
my mom, but sometimes my beloved sister will text me. And if I don't quite see the gap between the my and the beloved, it looks like kind of the same length of yours. So sometimes I think it's you, but it's
Right.
yeah, my beloved sister.
interesting. So if anybody has a funny name for someone on
Yeah.
their phone, post
Yeah.
it in the comments.
Oh god, I feel like I need to go through mine and see. Well, then it's just like the way phones work now. Most people are able to transfer everything.
Right.
I can't for some reason. I literally just had to start fresh. I was able to transfer my contacts. So then you start going through your contacts and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
who are these people?
don't
It's
even
like when
know.
you added people on Facebook
Yeah.
back in 2009.
I feel like I have over 5,000 people
and
on
they
Facebook.
and
or
then you know
something.
the
Yeah.
couple of times a month you get on Facebook, there they are, and you're like, whatever. I kind of like it.
What?
Kind of like
Just-
the little like glimpse into random people's lives that I met and I did have
yeah,
whatever encounter with, a
at some
relationship with,
moment, yeah.
just to see what the heck they're up to.
I think it's good to be comfortable appreciating the time you had with people
Yeah, and being able to
and then being
leave
able
it.
to leave it at
Yeah.
just at that those people were part of my life
Yeah.
for that moment.
Oh yeah, you don't need to keep
No.
track of them. You don't need to keep in touch with them. It's
No.
just like that's something that made you who you are today, and
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, these things ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of life.
Yeah, I love it.
Just like this pod. It's ebbing towards an end, I think, right now.
Yeah, it looks like you are for sure. I gotta see if he's packed up his house and is heading on out.
Episode 22. We did not acknowledge 21.
Oh,
It's
so this is
episode
the
22 now.
T Swift episode A.
Oh, you're feeling 22.
Ooh. No, actually, 22 is my worst year. So let's
All right.
just go
We're
ahead
fucking
and end
ending
this.
it now.